The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Read by Bill Sweeney. Musical accompaniment by Robert Sweeney. The Raven by Edward O'Hare. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, "only this and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I tried to borrow from my books a crease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor, entreating, entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor, entreating, entrance at my chamber door, 'tis this, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming, no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the darkness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back to the world, "Lenore." Merely this and nothing more. Then unto the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon I heard again a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at the window lattice. Let me see then what the threat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here the shutter, when with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not an instant stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. This ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. "Though my crest be shorn and shaven, though," I said, art sure, no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore? "Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore," quoth the raven.
"Hey, how's it going?"
Much I marveled this ungainly fellow. Much I marveled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answering little meaning, little relevancy. Though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no sublunary being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculpted bust above the chamber door, with such a name as
Freddy.
But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour, nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather that he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before," quoth the raven.
You okay, bud? You look kind of queasy.
Wondering at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, "Doubtless," said I, "what It utters it is only stock and store caught from some unhappy master, whom unmercifully disaster followed fast and followed faster so, when hope he would acquire. When hope he would adjure, stern despair returned. Instead of a sweet hope he dared adjure. That said answer?
You want some Tylenol?
But the raven still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of the bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking.
How about some Dimetap?
This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated over. But whose velvet violet lining of the lamplight gloating over she shall press, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by angels whose faint footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he has sent thee. Respite, respite, nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Let me quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven.
Flintstones chewables?
Prophet, I said, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempest sent or whether tempest tossed, thee here ashore, desolate yet, all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on his home by horror haunted. Tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven.
Maybe you just need a nap.
Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil. By that heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within a distant Aden it shall clasp a sainted maiden from the angel's name, whom the angels name Lenore. Clasp a rare and radiant maiden, who the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven.
I hear Match.com is great these days.
Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked on starting. Get thee back into tempest, and into the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken, quit thy bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven.
Dude, I already paid Airbnb, and they don't give refunds, so I think I'm going to be here a while.
And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming, and the lamplight over him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. This has been Wicked Theory Theater. This was a reading from The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. I'm Bill Sweeney. Robert Sweeney on instrumental accompaniment, and featuring Edward O'Hare as the Raven. Woo, really didn't know how that was going to go.
That was fun.
That was fun, right?
The Wicked Theory podcast is heard live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern until whenever. Just go to mixler.com/wicked-theory. Mixler is MIXLR. Sign up to join the chat. Then click the follow button to get reminders whenever the show goes live. You can find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, wherever good podcasts are given away for free, and at wickedtheory.com. You can support the show at patreon.com/wickedtheory. There you can get the after show if you miss it live. God forbid. Plus other exclusive episodes. As always, send your emails to podcast@wickedtheory.com.